So apparently for years there have been rumors of a Beckham family feud.
Have you been married 23 years?
23 years.
4 kids.
Yeah.
And one of your daughter or your son just got married?
Brooklyn just...
Long before the world whispered about a family rift, long before headlines questioned loyalties, and long before absence became louder than any statement, there was a single night that quietly marked the beginning of a fracture, a wedding that was supposed to unite 2 powerful families. Instead cast a shadow neither side fully understood at the time. From a distance, everything looked perfect. A sunlit ceremony, a dress shimmering beneath garden lights. Smiles frozen in photographs, destined for magazines. But behind the curated images and carefully arranged floral arches, something deeper stirred, a shift in gravity, pulling Brooklyn Beckham toward a future no one in his family expected. He had grown up in a dynasty crafted through talent, ambition, and relentless public fascination. But on that night, he stepped into another world, one governed not by fame, but by power. And the moment he said, "I do," an unspoken question began echoing through every corner of his life. When love and legacy collide, which one claims your loyalty? This wasn't a scandal. It was an evolution, and the story was only beginning. Brooklyn Beckham inherited a spotlight that never once dimmed. He wasn't merely the son of David and Victoria Beckham. He was the eldest heir to a global empire built from football stadiums, recording studios, fashion runways, and a level of visibility few families on Earth could fathom. He grew up watched by millions, evolving from a child in stadium seats to a young man navigating an identity shaped by his parents' cultural impact. Through it all, Victoria's influence loomed large, not just as a mother, but as a creative force, building her own empire. Behind the warmth of family portraits, Brooklyn carried pressures few could see. He existed between 2 worlds: the freedom of youth and the expectations tied to the Beckham name. Every choice carried weight. Every step felt observed. As he grew older, he tried to carve a space of his own through cooking, photography, creative experiments that were sometimes embraced, sometimes scrutinized. Through each attempt, he carried not just the hope of success, but the emotional weight of representing a dynasty. Yet none of those efforts prepared him for the shift that came next, wrapped not in fame, but in a presence whose influence would change his life's direction. Everything transformed the moment Nicola entered the picture. Nicola Peltz didn't grow up under the glare of paparazzi bulbs. Her world was shaped by something quieter, but infinitely more commanding: the weight of a billionaire legacy. Her father's influence reached into industries where decisions shifted markets. Her family operated in a sphere defined not by celebrity, but by strategic power. Where Brooklyn carried fame, Nicola carried legacy. Where he navigated public fascination, she navigated corporate gravity. Where his parents built a brand, hers built an empire. The contrast wasn't just cultural, it was structural. Brooklyn found in Nicola a kind of grounding he had never known. Her world offered space to breathe, space to exist outside headlines, space to be seen, not as the Beckham son, but as a person with his own desires and vulnerabilities. Their connection deepened quickly, almost fiercely. Both sensed they were stepping into a partnership that would challenge the lives they once knew. But with 2 dynasties converging, the stakes inevitably grew, and the shift revealed itself in a place no one expected. A wedding dress. In the Beckham world, fashion isn't just clothing, it's identity. It's the artistic signature through which Victoria built her second empire. So when the world anticipated Brooklyn's wedding, many assumed the bride would wear a gown from Victoria's atelier. But Nicola chose Valentino. The public explanation was simple: scheduling or timing. But whispers followed. Some believed it was taste. Others sensed deeper tensions beneath polite smiles. In circles where symbolism matters, declining a designer's creation especially your future mother-in-law's, can feel less like a preference and more like a statement. Nicola's gown became a turning point. Elegant, radiant, unmistakably independent. For Brooklyn, the choice forced an emotional reckoning. He adored his mother's artistry, yet understood Nicola's stance. He stood between two powerful women whose visions didn't align, and while no argument erupted publicly, something subtle shifted. A feeling that threads once tightly woven were beginning to loosen. But even then, no one imagined how quickly the tension would escalate. Because the next moment of the night turned quiet discomfort into something far more personal, and it unfolded on the dance floor. The first dance of a wedding carries a sacred stillness. Two people moving together for the first time as partners bound by vows. A moment meant to remain unshared. But whispers claim that during this moment, Victoria stepped in. No confrontation, no raised voices. Just a quiet interruption that shifted the emotional temperature of the room, whether it was harmless, spontaneous, or symbolic. The step onto the dance floor created a ripple in how the bride experienced her own wedding. To some guests, it meant nothing. To others, it was a sign. For Brooklyn, it was something else entirely. A collision between past and future, between the mother who shaped him and the partner who now walked beside him. He didn't voice discomfort. He didn't need to. The moment lingered. But even this wasn't the moment that altered the emotional direction of the wedding. The shift came from the stage. Through a single sentence, no one anticipated. As music softened and glasses clinked, singer Mark Anthony, a longtime family friend, stepped forward with a warm, affectionate speech. He spoke about love, partnership, and celebration. Then he asked who the most beautiful woman in the room was, and he reportedly named Victoria. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't intentional harm. But in the emotional landscape of a wedding, where the bride stands as the center of the universe, the words landed heavily. Nicola, radiant in her gown, became a spectator at her own celebration. Brooklyn felt the shift immediately. The tension in the air, the subtle change in Nicola's smile, the realization that echoes of his past were overshadowing the woman he had chosen for his future. That was the moment his perspective shifted, not against his mother, but toward his wife, toward protecting her, toward understanding that some patterns from his upbringing could no longer define his adult life. But the fallout from that awakening would ripple far beyond the reception. Because when the wedding ended, Brooklyn began making choices no one expected. In the months following the wedding, the public anticipated unity. Holidays, celebrations, major Beckham events. Instead, something quieter unfolded. Brooklyn's presence began thinning, then fading, then disappearing. He attended fewer family gatherings. He appeared mostly at Peltz family events, absorbed into their world. No public statement explained the shift, only silence. The most striking moment came when Brooklyn missed David Beckham's 50th birthday, an occasion monumental to the family legacy. No explanation, no confrontation, just absence. For Brooklyn, this wasn't rebellion, it was self-preservation. He had spent years trying to meet expectations built long before he was born. Now he was choosing a different identity. One anchored not in obligation, but in loyalty to the life he was building with Nicola. Yet beneath his quiet departure was a deeper emotional current shaped by power, influence, and the difficult path of redefining where he truly belonged. Families, like the Beckhams and Peltzes, operate in worlds where decisions ripple beyond emotion. Every gesture carries meaning. Every alliance shifts perception. And for Brooklyn, marriage wasn't just romantic. It was a transition between two systems of influence. With the Beckhams, visibility was currency. With the Peltzes, privacy was power. Brooklyn found solace in privacy, a chance to live without constant scrutiny, a chance to grow without inherited expectation, a chance to be seen for who he was. Victoria, for all her love, had envisioned her children staying close. Watching Brooklyn drift into another universe wasn't about losing control. It was about losing proximity, losing the ability to guide him, losing the closeness she once held. Yet she remained composed, supportive from a distance. Because love, even strained, doesn't disappear, it changes shape. But the rebalancing between two dynasties came with one unavoidable consequence: a future neither family could fully control. Today, the distance remains noticeable. Public appearances are selective. Interactions are quieter. Speculation continues. But behind closed doors, the truth is far more human. Brooklyn loves his wife deeply. He loves his family deeply. But love doesn't always align without friction. He chose Nicola not over the Beckhams, but alongside the man he is becoming. He formed a new identity shaped by his own desires, rather than inherited expectations. He embraced the Peltz universe, not for wealth, but for emotional safety. Meanwhile, the Beckhams navigate a new chapter. One where influence must yield to respect, where closeness must be earned rather than assumed, where the future of the family depends on gentleness rather than legacy. And perhaps over time, the distance will soften. Perhaps future grandchildren will reignite warmth. Perhaps both dynasties will learn to coexist in a balance neither expected. Because in the end, this was never a feud, never a rivalry. It was the emotional truth of a young man stepping out of a global shadow and into a life he chose for himself. A story still unfolding, a family still evolving, a future still unwritten.